So I entered an $1,000 tournament, the ERCS, aka the Eternal Return Competitive Series. So a little context, I entered for the main purpose of making a video of what it's like inside one of these tournaments. Other than that, I'm pretty much just a competitive dude. I really like ranking up during season. Hell, even IRL in college, I ran cross country, and in high school, I picked up a state title. So I signed up for this tournament, and I get in, which is pretty hype since the last time I signed up, I got waitlisted. 4 days out from the tournament though, New World comes out, I start playing with friends. It's not running on my PC. I look into the problem and I don't have enough RAM on my computer, which seems like a pretty easy fix. So my head ass goes into Best Buy, grabs some RAM, tries to install it. For whatever reason, it's compatible. I checked, it's compatible, and for whatever reason, it's not working. I'm getting the little error code that says there's no memory in my PC. So what do? I put back my old RAM and I'm like, well, I guess I'm just gonna have to live with this. That doesn't work either. So having a non-functionable PC, I take it in to the Micro Center by me. They say, yeah, the motherboard, it just isn't taking your RAM. I'm like, cool, I knew that. So instead of getting a upgrade for this crappy computer, I'm like, screw it, I'm just gonna get a new PC. I'm about due. So the new PC comes in, I'm about 3 days out from the competition, 2 days out. Really, I have 2 days to practice. The entire first day, I spent playing New World with my friends, because you know what, YOLO, you only live once. I honestly was just really hyped to play the game and have it look a little better than RuneScape, like old school. So, day of the competition rolls around. I haven't played Eternal Return in maybe 3 or 4 days, which is a pretty big break for me, to be honest. I spend the entire morning playing normals, swapping between Adriana and Jenny, which is going to be my second pick. The whole time, thinking I'm going to be playing 5 games, which the starting round is only 3, so I kind of got debated there. The only issue I have is my sensitivity feels so wonky. I don't remember what I had on my old setup, and it's messing with me. Not only is my sensitivity kind of wonky, every time I boot into a game, I have to change my sensitivity back. So scouting the tournament is pretty interesting. I have the second best player at the time and the 5th best player, Mizroy and Binks. Along with that, I have 2 other Titan players, which is a little spooky. In my head, that's 4 of the 6 spots that are going to be like pretty hard to take. 6 spots making it to the next round of the tournament. Other than that, it seems like there's a lot of melee in my lobby, which wouldn't be bad if there wasn't a ton of Yuki mains, which is kind of annoying for Adri, if I'm going to be honest. But looking through everyone else, I think the other major player in here that isn't a melee is probably Salem. I've seen his streams and he plays some Adela and he mostly plays Lennox, which in my opinion, those 2 champions, I have nightmares of a time playing against with Adriana. So I'm pretty scared of that, but I'm gonna get into the tournament. I'm gonna show you some gameplay. I recorded this the whole time, but I think there's replay somewhere. But this is just my POV. So in Select, we had 3 Lead Islands, 2 Yukis, 2 Hunwoos, and then a bunch of mismatch, but I got my route for Adri, which is height. So then I go into Beach, and I'm missing a hammer, which is pretty tragic. I decided to circle back for it, and I actually don't get it back here, which doesn't feel great, because I already crafted the ruby, but we're fine. I'll recover. Then we go into Factory, and normally I just run at people when I'm full build like this, but I am missing that one accessory. I'd still probably run at people if they aren't full build, so I take a look and no one is in Factory, unfortunately. So we're probably just going to go up into Alley, and that's going to be the move, just going to try to finish that last piece that I'm missing. So right now I'm in Alley, I got my hammer, which is hype, finishing my full build, now I'm just going around farming. So right now, I don't know if this is just me not paying attention to where people are on the map, or it's unlucky, but I looked around dock and then uptown, and I had no farm in either zone, so now I'm at beach kind of cleaning up scraps. So when we're in beach, we wait around for a bit for the bears to spawn, because I'm really trying to get those upgrades off of these bears since I'm not really contesting objectives. I hit Tree of Life, so I just need Meteor for the Didactic Prism. Other than that, I think I strike out on this bear, and then Uptown bears I tried, and they didn't have anything either. So a little tough on the RNG, but we'll survive. I see a Jackie in the zone, and I get a little scared, but then I see a Cecilia, Cicilla a bit later. I peep her. I think I could have taken this fight, and I think I should have. I was a little bit ahead of her. I had okay food. I think in the future I need to be more aggressive in these fights. I think the top players would have been more aggressive. Fast forward a bit, we go into pond trying to get vision, but then we see Mizroy on Jenny, which is kind of insane. I didn't expect that pick. I'm pretty sure he accidentally picked it, but me and him, I think me, him, and Binks are the only one without the test subject on, and I think they might have just didn't care that much about putting it on, but I honestly didn't know how to. So, Wickline was actually glitched this game, so I couldn't see where it was on the map. Alley was up, so I probably should have just assumed someone was going to try to take it off rip, but I didn't know because I couldn't see it. I do get ran down by Binks, who did take it, right as I got there, which I'm fine. I can kite for days, but Lee Dai-Lin is a scary champ, especially with Wick when she gets on top of you. But I lose her here, and I think Binks just doesn't want to follow after that. Then shortly after, I realize I don't have many kills, which is a little concerning, and I see a 3P going on right now. I pop in, see if I can pick it up, but I'm a hair too late on my second R, which is pretty tragic. I go forward trying to get this kill on this Lee Dai-Lin, who did pick up the kill on the Zahir, and I'm just not able to pick it up. She probably has pretty good food because you can see her health bar going up pretty fast. I'm still pursuing, then I see Binks, and I'm like, okay, I think I'm dipping out. No way I'm going to be able to get that, especially with no alt charges. And I do get ran at again, but at this point of the game, I'm just playing really passive, looking to 3P. I don't have any transitional items other than shoes. So this is kind of a common thing a lot of people do, is if they're behind, they'll wait till people are starting to fight in the zone to see if they can kind of clean up. That's what I do. I think I go in a little bit too early. See, I try to engage on this Leon. I don't even realize, but there's a Jackie in that bush. I don't push too forward because Hun Woo is a little scary, especially around these tight turns. I see I have more timer than the Jackie, but she's doing so much damage to me right now. She also, if you notice, has the myth chest, which is kind of insane. Not gonna lie, I do no damage when people have that item, and then from there I try to get back into the zone, but I can't do that without them dying. I probably could have held out a couple more seconds, but what am I gonna do there? So 5th place finish, no kills, doesn't give me a ton of points, but I'm probably sitting around 7th or 8th in the lobby just because that was a very front-sided game. And then I can just go back Adriana, exact same route. The only issue though is I get this tragic, and I tell you, tragic start here. I bink the hammer, which I'm like, okay, we're chilling. But I run into an Adela up here, and she has already looted pretty much all this, and I know we're gonna grab some similar stuff up at Alley, and I'm like, so I'm gonna just take the route of least resistance. I don't want to kill my time. I'm already pretty ahead compared to last game. I bink pretty much everything except the ribbon, and the ribbon is fine not grabbing because I can just grab a needle at factory and then grab a feather up at Sem. But I am trying to make my way to factory because I'm way behind on this build in Uptown. But this Adela won't let me, and I find out this is Mizroy, and he's just griefing my game, which feels really bad. But you know what? I probably would have done the same thing. So now a minute behind, I'm going to TP in a factory, and I actually catch up pretty quick. Luckily, there's no one in here to kind of screw me over. So it's not the end of the world. I'm still going to be fine, build-wise. And then I make my way into Cemetery, and what do you know? We are full build. Pretty quick, actually. So I spend a lot of this game in Uptown, 90% of the game I'm up here in Uptown. Mostly me kind of waiting for bears. Beach is already done. No one will really fight me here, even though I tried to pick a few fights. Here you can see I'm going to go after this Yuki, which he just like has no part of it. I'm doing okay damage. I try to chase him down, but he has like a million dashes, so him and like Lee Dai-Lin are two like melees that I can't just run down immediately. So here things get a little weird. Like I'm starting to go for bear, and then I see people pop up in the zone, like 2 or 3 new people. So I'm one, either looking to 3P that, or 2, looking not to get 3P'd on bears, especially because one of those new people is a Sylvia who's like cracked out of her mind right now. She has like 4 kills. I do go for Omega because I'm like, I need to transition something. Like, I'm in dire need of transition item. And luckily I don't get contested by Sylvia. I think if I did, I probably would have dipped into red zone, but I can grab the force core and transition into didactic prism from there. So at this point, I'm itching for a fight, just for someone not to run away from me, and I think this, like, Jan won't, and I start to engage and realize he's just going to jump right on top of me and chunk me down, which feels really bad, so I'm like, okay, maybe that's not the fight. This guy seems kind of ahead with his fire dress, so we're chilling. I do notice a lot of noise in forest, so I go up here. I am tragically behind on food, like as you can see, I am raw meat gaming. But we go grab some fish. I'm going to take this fight with a Jackie, but then a miracle happens, and this Kathy who's getting chased by a Hunwoo pops up, and I'm just going to grab that kill. I don't really want to mess around with Hunwoo, especially in that area, because it's so narrow, and he's just going to wall stun me. So at this point in the game, I really need kills. I'm going for this Lee Dai-Lin, but another Lee Dai-Lin actually pops up here. There were 2 in the area, and this one is way ahead of the other one. I'm pretty sure this was Binks. So I'm just trying to disengage at this point. I'm like, oh, I'm fine fighting your friend, but not you. So Wick is actually coming down here, and I rotate to it a little too late. This was partially because I couldn't see the Wick for the first half, and second, I just was busy doing bears. So it was a little tragic, but you know what? That's fine. I just poke my head in, and there's not really a fight to be had. Like, there's so many people over here, I'm not going to use all my abilities and like go full in. And this is like a common occurrence of the full game. I'm pretty sure this happened like 8 times. Like, there's someone that I want to kill, and I just can't reel them in because they have so many dashes or something along those lines. He's gonna die to the Adela. I just kind of walk up, and then I didn't realize this Wick buff Bleeder Jackie is on me. I use my E to get away, which is sweet. I probably should have pathed to the left, but I pathed right, not thinking Zukai would actually turn around to help kill me. So that's pretty unfortunate. I'd say it's a bit of a misplay, but I also knew Hunwoo was up to the left, so I might have died regardless. Pretty tragic way to go, though. So at this point in the game, I'm actually realistically, like, still in it. I'm probably sitting around, like, 8th or 9th right now, so if I have a solid game, I can hit top 6. I picked Jenny since it's anti-one trick. But yeah, she's just a fun character, and I've been playing her a lot, so why not? So, I Write Sins, Not Tragedies is actually, like, the inverse of what happened in this game. It was an absolute tragedy. I forget to set my mouse sensitivity because, as I mentioned before, it's like resetting, so I lose a few seconds there. Not a big deal, but the worst part is I can't find this knife, and I've never had this issue like doing this route. I know the loot distribution really well, and I think I missed like 1 box up by the car, and that probably had it in it. So I absolutely greed for it because nowhere else in my route is gonna have this knife. But I eventually get it, and we end up finishing our build, and I see this Rio, and I really want to like get this kill because I'm really kill hungry. I need to have a pop-off game. Even with like terrible food, I'm gonna chase her. Like, it's worth. And I actually find out later that's Mizroy, and he's already qualified, or maybe it was Binks. I forget. It was one of the top players who already qualified, so I don't feel too bad about griefing him early, but I don't get the kill, unfortunately. So one thing I'm bad with about like other characters outside of Adriana is like knowing I can't kite forever. Like the Q does nothing there. I'm able to dodge the queen, but she can just chase me forever. The pushback isn't really that effective there, the carpet. I ult to get away, she ults to continue chasing. It's really just tragic. I hate Adela just as like playing against her. Like I think she's a really cool designed character, but my brain doesn't work. I need to put in some games with Adela, but she's gonna kill me here. I try to get a little fancy with it and juke, and I probably just screw myself like even more. I should have just kept running to the left, but I think I don't make it out either way. And that is the end of my tournament run, unfortunately. So something kind of cool about this video, I think, is showing games that I didn't win, or really games I didn't pop off on, which is like usually what ER content creators do. Really, it's just a realistic look on how tournament play is actually like. Things that I've noticed that I think you guys can take away when you guys play in tournaments are objectives aren't the only thing contested. Things like farm and bears like are hella contested in these games, and I was not used to that. I'm used to kind of just free farming in normals like as much as I can. And along with that same vein of thought, normals are not good prep for these tournaments. That's pretty much all I played like in the couple of days leading up, and even like 2 weeks ago was the last time I played like a ranked game with Adriana. I've been grinding some like gold elo games with Jenny on ranked, but those games definitely didn't prep me for like the level of competition. Other things that I'd like to take away is you got to be a lot more aggressive in these games, especially if you're looking to qualify. I kind of only took fights that I knew I was going to win, or that I really felt comfortable like 3P'ing. Like an example is the first game where I had Cecilia at the beach. I really should have taken that fight, and I think that was a fight I could have won. So making sure that you're not playing dumb, but you're playing like confident enough that you can pick up some kills and get rolling and get those transitional items. Last thing I'd like to just point out is I was like really nervous going in for this tournament. I had to take like a warm shower literally 10 minutes before the game to kind of calm me down, to get my hands a little less shaky, you know? I'm used to like kind of high pressure competition with like cross country and stuff, but like I was always nervous for that stuff too. So I think the more like tournaments I get under my belt, the more confident I'm going to be, and the more or less nervous I'm going to get. But this was really fun. I think it was a really positive experience for me. The finals for this tournament are actually going on this weekend. I believe it's Saturday around 7 Pacific time. If I got the time wrong, I'm sorry, but I'll leave something in the description that will link you towards more information for that. Really talented players playing, and to be fair, looking at my results, I got 12th, which I wasn't very happy with at first, but then I look around in other like brackets and see that a lot of Titan players didn't qualify. So it does make me feel a little better in that regard. So I appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully this was fun for you. Maybe I'll enter more tournaments, do more videos on them, who knows. But yeah, peace.